What I see in my coaching business a lot, because I work with men exclusively, is what happens if they become so addicted to watching porn that they're unable to ejaculate without porn. And there is a whole world of men out there. I don't know how big this world is, of men who are so used to watching porn and needing porn to get off that they're unable to ejaculate without porn and with a woman. And they fall into this habit very innocently. They don't even know it's happening. And as a woman who works with men, as a mother and a grandmother, I just want to share with you some tips on the pattern that I see and what you can do to overcome it. So it's one thing if you watch porn intermittently. I'm not opposed to porn. I have a very popular Just for Fans page, but I don't focus on body parts on my page. I focus on, I also have intellectual content, my workouts, conversations like this, whole woman things, very sensual things, and sexual things too. So I'm not opposed to porn, but what happens, there's a negative side to how people use porn. And that's when they're using porn that focuses exclusively on body parts rather than a real person. So I really think it's better, if you're going to watch it, that you watch things that are whole woman oriented, or even subscribe to a certain model on OnlyFans or Just for Fans. So you're getting the experience of being with a real woman, and rather than just keying in on a certain thing like a MILF or a Greek or cum shots or certain close-ups, you know? Okay, this is the pattern that happens. A guy is not watching porn because he's horny. He gets horny because he watches porn. This is the big thing you got to realize. The guy feels lonely. He feels bored. Or he has anxious thoughts. And instead of being with his feelings or finding a different outlet, like if you're lonely, go find a woman, go be with some friends. If you're bored, get a hobby. They don't do that. Like, well, I have an hour before work, I'm tired at the end of the day. I'm bored, I'm lonely, I'm somehow in my head having uncomfortable thoughts. Let me put on some porn. Okay, now they're not doing it because they're horny. This is the important part. They're bypassing their whole body, and they're artificially stimulating themselves with these high intensity videos, free videos that are just like looping in this endless mind stuff. So they're watching this stuff and they get really turned on. They start masturbating and they're flicking around, and they can have like their favorite shots, or it takes a while, they have their favorite videos. It's a mental obsession anymore. It's not physical. Now they masturbate, but because they're not actually really horny, it takes them a long time to come. And if they do this once or twice a day, they're overstimulating their penis and numbing their penis. They're desensitizing their penis, and they're using usually a very tight grip. It's called a death grip, to the point where they're not able to ejaculate at home without the porn. Is my theory. I haven't asked them yet. I'm going to start asking. When they get to be with a real woman, which they rarely do, that's why they're watching the porn, they find out they can't come at all because they don't have the porn. And there's no vagina that's as tight as the death grip of your hand. There's no woman's mouth as tight as the death grip of your hand. Plus, a woman is lubricated, and your hand usually is not. They're not usually using lube. And so they can't come, and they don't know why. So this is what you do. You masturbate without the porn. You start tuning into your body. This is hard because it's become a habit. It's become this go-to thing when you're bored or lonely or distracted. Like, we all need to have some go-to things. So one thing is to be aware of what you're going to, and to start using healthier alternatives. This is not going to be easy. I make it sound really easy. This is the solution, but it won't be easy. You only masturbate when you're actually horny, and you don't watch porn. You use your imagination. Fantasize, well, whatever you want. You can even fantasize about the porn. It's fine. Don't watch it. No, so only masturbate when you're actually turned on. Number 2, use a loose grip. Number 3, use lube. That's it. it might take you a few weeks before you can even climax at all. That's okay. Your penis nerves have to grow back, and your brain's neuroplasticity has to come back online, and it will. You can totally reprogram yourself. I remember a few years ago, I was like really trying out vibrators. I don't like them, but I was like, I gotta use vibrators. Everyone's talking about vibrators. And I used them only for less than 6 months. But it got to the point after those 6 months, I couldn't climax without a vibrator. It had so desensitized my clitoris. I'm not saying all women are that way. It was my own experience, and I decided to go off of them completely. And it took me several weeks before I could orgasm again. But I did, okay? So you can too. So now you're going to say, well, I'm so used to using porn when I'm lonely or bored or have uncomfortable thoughts. Okay, so what I teach people, if you're bored or lonely, you can just be with that feeling, feel it in your body, and just be with it. You don't have to escape yourself all the time, because you're an awesome person, and learn to be with all the parts of you. Also, your feelings could be telling you something. If you're lonely, maybe you want a girlfriend. Maybe you want to be with friends. You want social connections. If you're bored, what else could you do when you're bored? You probably have a lot of interest that you've abandoned. And what I always tell guys, because a lot of these guys are actually very good looking, they have good jobs, they're attractive, they're interesting. So I'm like, get a girlfriend. You could be having a lot of sex with a real woman and you're just watching porn. And I think it's become an outlet for guys that, being social is not always that easy. I push myself right now. I've been putting myself in a lot more social situations. It's a skill that we're losing. See, here's the thing too. If you think about what kind of society we want to be, the more time we spend on our phones and interacting with our phones in videos or porn or games, what's happening to us as a human race? That there's so much comfort in our phones that we don't even want to be with people anymore. And I worry about the decline in our humanity and what kind of person I'm going to become. A recluse tied to my phone. Are we all going to be buried with our phones because that's the most important thing in our lives? If you don't have your phone, what would you be doing? That's another question. I want to watch the porn, but if I don't have my phone, what would I be doing? In the end, you're going to have to want it bad enough to make these changes, because it's going to be freaking hard otherwise. But if you're committed to being a different person, having different results, it won't be that hard, because right now I'm working on a bunch of stuff for myself that's been hard to change. One is my sleep. And it didn't get until I was finally really committed to it that I started looking for ways to make a change in my life. Yeah, but I just wanted you to be aware that the way that people use porn has become very debilitating to people's sexual function. And all these guys that are checked out watching porn are not pursuing relationships. And it's such a shame to us women that these awesome guys are not even realizing what porn is doing to them, and they have lost interest in real women, because real women require things and require social interaction, and it's just a lot easier to just be on your phone and not have to talk to anyone. And these are like really great guys, interesting, empathetic, and I was like, why aren't you dating? Anyway, if you have any questions, please leave them in the video. If you want to work with me and do coaching, I'm happy to help you. If you have like a personal problem or something that you'd like me to make a video about, I won't use your name. Email me and I will read your letter in a video and give a reply. I will keep out all your personal details, of course. And thank you for listening to my video.